The following program was produced by CTV Community Television.
So the next,
Let me jump in there really quick, sorry. I want to recognize Miss Baker, fifth grade teacher at St. Clair River Elementary. She had not one but two teams of students win the Elaine Adams Kids Original Writing Contest. So with that, the two teams will have their stories created or made into an animated short that'll be out early this spring. So congrats to both teams and Miss Baker. And I also wanted to thank Superintendent Cybula as well as the operations department. This month has been cold, and I know, decisions to shut down schools is not the easiest one, but for me, thank you for keeping, our kids, staff, bus drivers, everybody safe. So we appreciate it. Thanks.
Where do they put the animated short out there somewhere?
Yes, so more information to come on that. There's an Elaine Adams website. You can go on there and you can see the teams. The finalist, I think, was 10. It's from grades 3rd to 7th, maybe even 8th. It's national. They submit their stories, just a short story, and then they're picked from there.
How exciting.
So, yeah, pretty neat.
Thank you. This birthday present.
and if everybody didn't know, it's Suzanne's birthday, so.
Yeah, thank you. I thought a board meeting on my birthday would be perfect.
Awesome.
Anybody else? All right, the next item, special recognition, school board member recognition. Suzanne.
Thank you. So even though we are in February, this is our rescheduled meeting of recognition of our board members. So January is School Board Member Appreciation Month. We are fortunate in East China to have a dedicated group of individuals to serve as board members in our district. We know that that isn't easy. Board members serve without compensation, which is a true testament to their dedication. And like I was reading earlier, they're involved in whether it's athletics or our fundraising for our teachers through the ECEF. We appreciate their involvement in all we do. And so on behalf of the staff, students, and community, we'd like to thank each of our board members for their service to our community and to our school district. So thank you very much. When I call your name, if you could please come up, what we've done in the past years is there's a book that is given to the media centers, libraries in each of our buildings in honor of your service to our school district in your name. So let's see, let's start here. Karen Cedar, who has served on the board since 2019 for 7 years. Thank you for your service. And then Don will give you a book, and if you could start a lineup over there so we can get an awesome photo. Michael Westrick, who has also been on the board since 2019, serving for 7 years. Thank you. Jessica Becker, who's served on the board since 2023 for 3 years. And makes a mean chili.
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian chili.
That's why you didn't win.
Thank
That's terrible.
you. Ronald Miller, 3 years. Thank you so much for your service and all you do and have done for our school district. Jamie Haslam, since 2024. Thank you for everything. Yep. Lindsay Chop, since 2025. Thank you for all you do for our students. Appreciate it. And Sean Treadaway, also since 2025. Thank you for highlighting those younger students today. Appreciate it. Yep. 2 books. There you go. This is the one that's going to go out on social media, so. Thank you, Dawn. Dawn will recollect those and we'll get those back to the students.
Do people read books?
And then I have one more gift for the board members tonight. Julie Humphrey, the director of our food service, wanted you each to have a cookbook in honor of your service to the school districts. So you could bring a dish to pass if you'd like at the next board meeting. Yeah. Yeah.
There's one in here for Jessica.
From Julie. Yep.
Thank you.
And that's it, thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, the next item is the consent agenda, approval of minutes for the Special Board of Education meeting, December 15th, 2025. Regular Board of Education meeting, December 15th, 2025. The approval of payment of bills, financial statement, and schedule of investments. Motion is needed.
So moved. Support?
Any comments or questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, the departmental reports.
Good evening. We are excited this week. Tomorrow and Wednesday, we have a parent-child workshop at our GSRP and Early Childhood Special Education programs, where we invite the families to come in. This month's topic is kindergarten readiness. So as part of that, we will be doing initial kindergarten roundup as well and allowing them to enroll in the program. And then our kindergarten roundup and registration will officially start the week of March 9th at each of our elementary schools from 4 to 5:30. The schedule is on our website, so we do encourage everyone that has children getting ready to be in Young Fives or kindergarten to come out and see the buildings and get their paperwork in. That helps us a lot with staffing, with our resources, and getting the kids excited and ready for kindergarten, and giving them some materials to help them over the summer and get them all ready to start. And I can't believe we're already talking about it, but here we are.
Good evening. To kind of go along with what Dawn was saying, we have started the scheduling process for 26-27, which is an exciting time. We started our secondary buildings, and then that will eventually flow down to the elementary schools. The students had freshman orientation at the two high schools last week, and that went really well. And then the Skyward window for students to select their courses closes on the 12th, and then the real work begins. So, thank you.
From the business office, I wanted to share that eFunds is the software that works with Skyward that allows for payment processing electronically. And they just added a new feature this month that parents can opt into for a notification that allows them to be notified when a fee is added to their student's account. So it's kind of a simple feature, but should be very helpful moving forward. It seems like when an email goes out, there's lots of surprises when they've been added. So they can find out right when they've been added. So new feature on eFunds.
Well done.
Hello, I do not have any updates this month.
One item for informational purposes, last week, we had the bid opening for the asbestos abatement that will take place immediately at the conclusion of the school year. We're working on a recommendation right now that will be in your board book to bring for your approval at the next board meeting.
So my update kind of piggybacks on that. I just want to say thank you to Mrs. Bondi, yes, she's not looking, but thank you, Mrs. Bondi. We're already thinking about summer projects. We have 3 elementary schools that we're going to be working on, a lot of classroom items that we have to remove for construction. One of them is abatement. So Mrs. Bondi and I met last week. I'm also, plug, have a granddaughter coming in June, so I'm very happy, and I want to be able to be there when my new granddaughter is born. So we're trying to front load some of the work. And we're going to do, there's some really critical things that we can get done over spring break, which me and my team will do. None of us are really going away. So excited about that, getting a head start for the summer, because we know as soon as school is out, we're going to hit the ground running. Thank you, Lisa.
Good evening. With respect to safety and security, at our last meeting back in December, you may recall I talked about risk and vulnerability assessments. Happy to report we've conducted those. They've been completed as far as the survey With the staff from St. Clair County Emergency Management coming out and walking through our buildings, I'm simply waiting for the reports now to be formalized and sent to me. I don't expect any flaws to be pointed out that based on the feedback I got from the folks that were in our facilities. So we're looking good in that regard. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Information discussion items, bond 2020 update, AUK general contractors.
Good evening, Lisa Bonney with Out Construction. I am here to give you a little bit of an update. Like Craig said, we are actually started already, so we are doing some second shift work at Pine River. We are replacing all the classroom lights right now. So they go in, they pop a few lights out and put the new ones in. They're doing about 2 rooms a night. It's going well, and they'll be there for about a month working at that building, and then they're gonna move to Bell River. They've also started at Pine River, or at Palms, working on the conduit that they need for the electrical for the new air conditioning units, the new mechanical units we're gonna have in each of the classrooms. We met with DTE out there in a very cold day to talk about taking down a pole and putting up a new pole. So we're getting that set up because we're gonna need a new transformer to have the power for these new units. And winter break is coming up this weekend. We're gonna start some painting at Pine River. We're gonna get the gym all painted up because we're gonna be using the gyms for storage of all their teachers' materials for the summer. So we're gonna hit Pine River this break and then Bell and Palms over spring break. That's about all I got. You have anything, questions or anything? Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks for participating in the run on Saturday.
Oh, that's right.
I was giving you credit for the run.
All right, 2020 budget revision, Angie Gleason.
Okay, good evening. I'm here this evening to share our revised general fund budget. At the June 2025 meeting, we reviewed our revision 3 for last year's budget, as well as the original budget for this year. So this presentation revises that original budget from June. In October, Governor Whitmer shared the state budget, which includes the school aid fund. This revision allows us to plug in the actual data versus the assumptions that we would have used at that original budget time. So foundation allowance. This column chart shares 10 years of data of our state aid membership or our student count, as well as our foundation allowance. So the blue bars represent the student count recorded on our state aid monthly payments. So 2026 reflects a 19 student decrease from the prior year. And then our assumption in that original budget was 54 students, so a nice little improvement there. And the orange bars reflect the per pupil foundation allowance. In 2026, the foundation allowance is $10,050 per student. That's a $442 increase from the prior year. The original budget assumed a $392 increase, so just $50 more than anticipated, so nice increase there. So we'll jump right into revenue. East China School District receives revenue from primarily 4 sources: local, state, federal, and other. The local sources are 97% local taxes. On that first line for local sources, the $297,532 increase from the original budget to the R1 can be attributed to increased property values. When you move down to the state sources, those state sources are foundation allowance and state categoricals. Foundation allowance is 64.9% of the state total. To explain the $2,193,942 increase, I want to remind how that foundation allowance is funded. The state sets the per pupil rate at $10,050. The district first collects the local taxes or operating mills, and this year those local taxes made up the first $3,862 and some change of that per pupil allowance. And then the state makes us whole by providing the final $6,187 per student. So the St. Clair County reports our taxable values to the state, which provides for that calculation. In September, we discovered our taxable values had been overstated to the state. So our county corrected our taxable values back to tax year 2021. And then this update initiated foundation allowance payments from the state for the corresponding years in the amount of $1.7 million. So the remaining increase, so of the 2.1 million, 1.7 was a foundation allowance correction. The remaining increase in state sources can be found in categoricals such as GSRP and at-risk. Any questions about that? That was a lot on that state line.
Yeah, so how did the 1.7 reappear?
Okay, so when the county reports our taxable values, they report the total taxable value line. There are properties, DDA properties, that capture taxable value, and that money is rerouted to those properties. The county had not noted those captured values on our reports. So the state was thinking we received foundation allowance based on the total taxable value when it hadn't been reduced by the captured numbers. So once the captured numbers were reflected, our total taxable value that we received foundation allowance was reduced, so then the state had to make up for the difference. This was the reason why it was so evident this year is this was the first time that we had a pretty large property in the city of St. Clair that it was very easy to follow through the process. So it allowed us to ask more questions and, got everyone on the same page. So even our friends at the State Department helped us out and made a couple calls for us. So, yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah, that was nice. Okay, so let's move on to our federal sources. Those are for grants, Title, IDEA, and Medicaid. Overall, there was a 5% decrease in these final awards, which reflected as a decrease of $110,222 from the original budget. And then that last source, which we classify as other transactions, those include PA $18 and Medicaid interim funding, which is passed through RISA. These allocations also decreased by $128,390. So looking at revenue as a whole, the revision reflects an increase of $2,252,862, which is positive news for fiscal year '26. But again, keep in mind that 1.7 is a one-time correction that, we won't see next year. All right, and as we move on to expenditures, public schools break down expenditures into 6 categories: salaries, benefits, purchase services, supplies, capital outlay, and other. You'll notice minor changes in our expenditures for this revision. We focus this revision on staff placements, negotiated contracts, employment contracts that is, as well as health benefit rates, which were all settled after our original budget had been approved. We were able to note a decrease, let's go back to salaries. Okay, so staff reductions due to attrition as well as wage increases netted an increase in salaries of $186,813. We were able to note a decrease in benefits overall of $79,157. And then the last expenditure that was adjusted this round was capital outlay. Because the district is without a sinking fund, we've increased our capital outlay dollars to begin inching towards the 1 to 2% increase, 1 to 2% general fund investment goal for each year. So we want to get closer to 1 to 2% of our total budget in capital outlay. So this puts us at 0.8%. So We're getting closer, but we really need to start setting some money aside for capital improvements. So expenditures as a whole for this revision increased by $494,601. Okay, so we'll move on to a summary. The summary really looks at the revenues to expenditures. In fiscal year '25, our audited numbers, our expenditures exceeded revenue by $2,191,315. When comparing that fund balance to expenditures, that left us at a 9.28% fund balance. All right, and then we move over to our original budget that also projected expenditures to exceed revenue by $1,758,261. And when you add that to the fund balance, the fiscal year '25 audited fund balance, and then compare it to expenditures, that left us with a 6.11% fund balance. All right, and then when we move over to the R1, we were able to balance it. So our revenue equaled our expenditures, and then when you take just that fiscal year fund balance of $4,885,756 and compare it to the R1 expenditures, that leaves us at 9.46% fund balance. You can expect a second revision in June, like we normally do, as we get closer to the year end. And as far as the budget timeline moving forward, the governor's recommendation actually comes out Wednesday, February 11th. In April, we typically see recommendations from both the Senate and the House. And this is all the state budget, okay? And then there's another revenue estimating conference in May where they talk about what they anticipate for revenues. And then in May and June, the conference negotiations happen with an anticipated finalized budget by July 1st. So we hope for July 1st. We know this year it was the first week of October before we saw that budget. So another reason why this revision is a little shortened. So East China School District's original budget for 2026 must be approved by the board by June 30th. And we do anticipate some tough decisions in preparing for that original budget. Like I said, we know our revenue will be reduced by at least 1.7 due to that taxable value correction. But other than that, are there any questions that I have for tonight?
So you said with the capital outlay, and it always stands out to me when we say we don't have a sinking fund, that we're building the capital outlay up. It's at 0.8%.
Correct.
What do we normally keep that at when we have a sinking fund?
We try to keep it whatever our budget will allow. So, it's usually as an as-needed basis. I don't know that the district has really had a specific percent. It's basically what we need to do to get by and.
To cover.
Yep.
So, I mean,
We've always had a
it could
sinking
be at
fund.
zero, really, right?
Pardon me?
If we had a sinking fund, it could be at zero.
It could be at zero, but.
I mean, that's with everything balancing, but.
Right.
To be
I mean, there are
honest,
capital
it's at zero,
improvements
right.
that a sinking fund doesn't necessarily cover.
Right.
So I guess that probably isn't fair to say it would be zero.
Right.
Capital outlay also includes if we needed to replace a bus, if we need to replace, maintenance vehicles, things like that, so.
Sinking fund wouldn't be able to replace those?
Those are not good examples, because yes, they would. They would, so,
change those.
Trying to catch up.
yeah,
a bus motor run.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Angie.
Thanks.
Next item, Michigan Association of School Board election of member to MASB Board of Directors. So there are two candidates for our region, Richard Hill and James Johnson. The information on the candidates was included in the board packet, and we'll be voting at the next meeting for one of the candidates. So please review the information. Next item, recognition of persons wishing to address the board. Next item, closed session. A motion to move into closed session pursuant to MCL 15.26H to discuss material exempt from discussion or disclosure by state or federal statute. In this case, MCL 15.243G and MCL 15.268E to discuss specific pending litigation with legal counsel.
So moved.
All in
Oh,
favor?
roll call.
Oh, okay.
Trustee Ron Miller,
Yes.
Treasurer Sean Treadway,
Yes.
Trustee Karen Cedar,
Yes.
Secretary Jessica Becker. Vice President Jamie Henkel,
Yes.
Trustee Lindsay Chuck,
Yes.
President Michael Wolf.
Yes. Okay, we'll be back shortly.
The preceding program was produced by CTV Community Television. CTV Community Television is supported by the cities of Marine City and St. Clair, East China Township, Cotterville Township, and the East China School District.